it's little and large. Tiny Judith. Our job for today is to harvest the shallots, and Judith's going to start processing them, and I think it takes a couple of days, doesn't it?
Yeah, so you leave them for 24 hours with salt on them.
Oh, okay. So I want to video the process in case anyone else wants to try it themselves. So first step is to actually harvest the shallots, and it helps to have a nice plant pot to put them in. Not a bowl, that would be too traditional. A plant pot. So I better get my hands dirty and help. Good mum. So do we keep them together like this?
Well, yeah, I mean, they need to come off their stems eventually, so...
They smell really, really good, don't they, Jude?
They smell lovely. Yes, but unfortunately I have flies up my nose, so I can't breathe in.
I know, the flies are really annoying. I think we're a bit more sheltered from the wind here, aren't we? So here's our shallot harvest of 2022. It is 2022, isn't it?
Yeah.
2022. Judith, what do you say about our shallot harvest of 2022?
It's very, very good. I think it's better than any of the ones we got at the allotment, because I think we've probably got a similar amount, maybe a few more, but what we do have this year is much bigger ones than we used to get at the allotment.
Oh, brilliant.
So that's really good.
Okay.
I just have to try and find a jar that's going to be big enough.
Maybe a few jars.
Yeah, it will be a few jars.
And we have them for Christmas breakfast, don't we?
Yeah, so we usually have like the tester jar around the October holidays. They're very good for fish and chips. But then, yeah, we have a jar at Christmas breakfast too.
Ah, brilliant! I can't wait. Okay, so what's the next step then?
So we have to separate them all, and then we'll pop them, and we'll chop off the green bits. Then we'll pop them in the colander and pour boiling water over them for I think it's about 10 seconds, and that just softens the skins so that you can peel the skins right off. It just saves a lot of time peeling.
Ah, brilliant. Okay, so first step is separating them and chopping off the greens.
Yeah.
And then we put them in the colander.
Massive.
Okay, so now we are snipping off the greens and the roots.
Yeah.
So we've got the roots here, we just use scissors.
It's a lot easier using scissors than
Isn't it? And then as close to the bulb, Judith said, as possible.
You put soil in a compost heap.
Mm-hmm.
So we can just put all of this in the compost then.
It just doesn't like rot down, but you can just use it with the compost.
Right. I ordered some pickling spices this year because the pickling vinegar's got really expensive.
Oh, okay.
So I've ordered pickling spices and I'll make my own pickling vinegar.
So is that what is different about pickling vinegar? Is just the spices?
They've already added the spices, yeah.
Okay.
As far as I'm aware anyway.
What spices do you get?
I don't know, because I just ordered like a mixed bag. So the one I remember is chilies, but there's lots more to it than that.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see when it comes what you get, because some of them we may be able to grow ourselves next time.
Yeah, well, I know you want to grow mustard, so usually mustard seeds feature somewhere in pickling spices, don't they?
Yeah. I don't know. Actually, I have no idea. You know more about this than I do.
Well, you still, with the shallots, I'll still add things like the chilies and What else is it that you put in? Can't remember. Put sugar and vinegar and chilies. I'm really not remembering what the other thing is because I just get very excited about the chilies.
No, Judith's shallots are often very, very hot, which is lovely. Yeah, I'm ready.
So, I'm just going to pour boiling water over them and leave it for 20 seconds. And then I'll put them through a colander.
20 seconds.
20 seconds, so it just softens the skin. And then basically, it's quite fun. They kind of pop out of the skin.
Okay.
Count to 20 now.
There's a bit of a problem though, isn't there? That
Why?
we've used both colanders.
Yeah, I know, but it's okay because I'm really prepared for this.
So here they are in their boiling water
12,
for 20 seconds.
14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19,
Here's the colander.
20. Full sink. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to have to be a little bit canny
Because of
I'm
the
gonna
boiling
scald
water.
myself. So I'll
want me
just
to?
tip some of it out to stop myself from burning alive.
Okay, yep.
On camera.
That's the mating column.
Plop them all in here. Ta-da!
That's brilliant.
Right.
Okay, so the theory is then that the skins pop off.
Well, they pop out of the skins. It's very fun. I'll pour cold water over them now.
So they are popping out, aren't they? Oh, that's quite good actually.
I hope you're paying attention because you're doing the next ones.
No, we're not.
You are. That's what they always do on these programmes. Right, okay, so I'm going to just take one and just going to go...
Ah!
It's fun, isn't it?
So you just squeeze it?
Yeah, basically, try and make sure that you've got some control over where it's going. Well, that one's a bit reluctant. There we go.
Yeah, that was good squelching sound there.
And they end up looking very naked because you're used to seeing them with the darker skins on.
Okay. Yeah, they look a bit like those silver skin pickled onions.
Yeah, but I think that's just by comparison. Because actually, you know, they're not that white. It's just that you've just seen them with all of this mucky stuff on, and we need a knife for that one to cut out the bits. Pour the boiling water into the bowl.
This one?
Yeah, and then count to 20.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
So it's completely covering?
Yeah. That's it, that's fine.
Okay, so 1, 2, 19, 20.
Okay, so now you tip it through the colander.
Okay.
Just tip it into the sink, it doesn't have to go into another bowl.
Isn't it?
And then when it's all gone through the colander, you can just pour cold water over it.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
The water's gone yellow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and now just rinse them over with cold water.
And is this to help them peel or is it to get the soil off?
You just have them peel. That's it. And now we can start peeling them again.
Okay. So that is all the shallots peeled, and after every layer we've put I think was it a tablespoon of salt, just sprinkled it over the top. I don't know why, but apparently that's what you do. So this is all the shallots, quite a few of them. Okay, so this is the following day. We've left them for 24 hours in salt, and Judith has just washed them in a colander, and now she's weighing them to see how many we've got. So I think, does the pickling vinegar depend on the weight?
It's just the recipe is for 500 grams.
Okay.
So I just need to know how much vinegar I'm going to do.
Perfect.
They still have a little bit of water weight because I haven't dried them yet. But
it's just an approximation. Yeah. So now for the moment of truth. How many shallots have we harvested from Stempster this year? We'll try and beat it next year.
Okay. So this would be 500 grams.
Okay. Going well so far. We've got over 500.
700. 900.
Oh.
Moving up to the kilo.
Okay, so we've got over a kilogram of shallots.
1200. 14. 15. Hope it's not going to get too much more because otherwise I'm going to have a bit of a problem.
Well, we don't have to pickle them all though, do we? We could...
16. 1600.
16. Wow, okay. So that's like over 1.5 kilograms of shallots.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Fortunately, I found my big kilner jars.
Oh, yes, and you've washed them as well, haven't you?
Yeah, so they're washed, but they haven't been properly sterilised yet, but I've got the oven on ready.
Okay,
So you just put the oven on to about 150.
Uh-huh.
And then put them in there to dry, basically.
So they don't crack then?
No, they don't, but you have to be very careful when you take them out. Obviously, you don't touch them.
Okay.
And you don't put anything cold on them or anything, so...
So it's the sudden change of temperature that makes glass crack?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just patting the shallots dry. And I'm using the tea towel that's been covering them all night because it already tastes of onion. No, well, it smells of onion. I don't think it tastes of onion.
I'm really, really impressed by that harvest.
That's a really good harvest, yeah.
Can you remember what we used to get at the allotment?
I think it was always over 500 grams, but I don't think it was ever that much.
Wow, okay, so we've basically multiplied that by 3 then.
Yeah, I think we've maybe got, well, at least half again as much as we've had before, let's say.
That's fantastic. And we usually have plenty for the October holidays, plenty for Christmas breakfast and Christmas period, and then some spare to give to family and friends.
Yeah, well, I don't know who actually liked them last time, so I'm just giving them to Lydia because I know she liked them.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. There's a lot of work gone into these shallots.
They aren't for everyone because they're so spicy.
So we put a lot of chilies in, don't we?
Yeah, I put loads of chilies in because I like things spicy. And the shallots are so tangy that you can put a lot of chili in with them. Like, if it was mild, you couldn't really do that.
You don't really get shallots much at the shops, so it's something that people really should grow their own of. And if you do get them, they're very expensive.
I think that's the same with a lot of things that grow well in gardens, isn't it? It's the same with rhubarb.
I think it's because if they're not easy to harvest and process, then that's what makes the price go up. Not that they're not easy to grow.
Yeah.
And then with rhubarb, I suppose, because it's a perennial, it takes a few years. Same as asparagus.
Well, yeah, I suppose we've always been very lucky with that because we've kind of inherited it.
Or stolen it from the
That's
allotment.
That's inheriting.
The allotment rhubarb came from an abandoned plot. Well, there wasn't any plots being used at the time. We started off the allotment, and we didn't want it to get wasted, so we relocated
It was
it.
getting motivated, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, worse than that, it was getting the top of the soil scraped off.
Yeah.
Which really wasn't a great idea. But
Yellow tea towel. It's amazing how they turn everything yellow.
If you want to dye anything like naturally, shallots, make a yellow dye.
Right, so I'm going to make roughly 3 times the recipe. Because it's roughly 3 times the number of shallots.
So today we're just using normal malt vinegar.
Yeah, so it's not what I would have chosen. I would have chosen white vinegar. Well, actually, I'd have chosen the very spiced vinegar, but it's really expensive.
Yeah, about that.
So there's no point in saving money growing your own stuff and then spending absolutely loads on the, you know.
Exactly, and it's the shallots that will
stuff.
make the difference, won't it?
Yeah, so but the white vinegar was all sold out.
Oh, okay, lots
So
of people making pickled shallots.
We're just going with normal malt vinegar.
So if there was 500 grams of shallots, how much vinegar would you use?
450 millilitres.
Okay, so we trebled that.
Yeah, we just slightly over trebled it,
Yeah.
but yeah. And then what I've got is new to me, which is natural pickling spice.
Okay.
I don't know how much to put in. I'm just going to have a guess and stick a couple of tablespoons in, I think.
Well, when I do the ham, I'm usually quite generous with it.
Yeah, well, you can also put in the chilies and bay leaves separately, like additionally. So it has stuff goes into it too. But this is quite an interesting little mix.
So it's pre-mixed. It looks like there's some mustard seeds in there. Should have some of our own
mustard
next
seeds. We've got
year.
some cloves.
Probably won't have any of our own cloves.
I'm just going to put that much in.
Scotland. Okay.
And then there's lots left.
I can steal for
Not that
ham.
it's gonna, yeah, not that it's going to go off at all. It's dry, so.
So every Christmas we make our own ham, and we use like spices for the brine. And it's usually quite good, to be honest.
It's very good. Right, I need 450 grams of granulated sugar now. Bit of a balancing thing, this. It'll keep going from one thing to another.
Trying to cut down on the washing up.
I know, yeah, it's not really going to work out, but you
I
know,
think,
do your best.
yeah, I think we just accept that on preserving days and cooking days there's a lot of washing up and lots of sugar. Good. I'm not sure how much sugar we have actually. I emptied the big bag into that canister.
Oh, great.
Holding our breath. Will there be enough? Yes. There was enough. Hooray!
But we did get caster sugar for the baking. So.
And we are going shopping tomorrow.
Yeah. Right, so this goes in the tub.
Mum knows, don't we?
This is like modern cooking with your recipe on the computer.
Just be very patient with me videoing all of this.
I don't mind. And you can eat my jokes. Right, and finally we need 75 grams of salt. I think. I'll just double check that. But...
75 grams. Is that taking into account the trebling?
Yeah, that is.
Okay.
No, that was for yesterday, so they think that's about how much you used yesterday. We didn't measure it yesterday, we were a bit like happy-go-lucky.
Yeah. So we don't need salt.
No, we don't need salt. What we need now is our bay leaves and our chilli flakes.
So bay leaves and chili
We
flakes.
could have gone outside and got our own bay leaves, but they're where the birds feed. And
yeah, I think next year we'll have a bit more of an organised herb garden. What I want to do actually is have the herb garden and cutting garden next to each other.
Okay, yeah.
Because I've been wondering for a long time now where to put the herb garden, and so I'm going to make a nice sheltered bit near where the gate is in the field, the gate to outside. So you know,
right at the far end.
yeah,
Yeah.
So I'll split that up into two. One can be a little herb garden, only small bits, and one can be a cutting garden because I really, really like the idea of doing more cutting flowers.
Yeah, well, I mean, that would be really useful for the show.
Yeah, and I was thinking actually it would be lovely to do it more often, like for the house.
Yeah.
I actually don't enjoy it, you see.
Yeah, it's fine. It's actually fine to enjoy flour and chili.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
So 1, 2, 4.
Well, you're supposed to put in 5 whole chilies for 500 grams of shallots. So
It's just like very liberal.
I'm going to put in 10 liberal teaspoons of chili flakes. That's slightly less than as though it was 1 teaspoon as a whole chili, but there are chili flakes in the pickling spices. Right, so vinegar, sugar, chilies and bay leaves in the saucepan. Right, so now bring it to the boil. And then just from there. There's so many rings on this thing. I think it's that one. Doesn't seem to be happening, does it?
No, let's try this one here because I was using this one.
Oh, that one.
Okay.
It could mean that there's no gas. No, there is gas.
No, just tell Mum. Okay, so we bring this to the boil, and when it's boiled, is that it, or do we leave it for a bit?
When it's boiled, you leave it, but to be honest, the shallots really need doing. So we'll not leave it for very long.
Okay. So the vinegar has just boiled. So we've taken it off the heat, and we're going to infuse it with the spices for a few minutes. And then do we mix it with the shallots?
No, I will put the shallots in the jar and then tip the vinegar over it.
Okay. The jars are in the oven. They're a bit precarious, so we'll see if they survive. Gently does it. Okay. There's probably a way to take this tray off the door, but we didn't know how to do that.
To be honest, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Seems to have gone fine, doesn't it?
So Judith's using oven gloves to take them out because they're hot and they can't go near anything cold because otherwise they'll crack.
Okay. Brilliant.
Yep.
Thank you very much. I'm going to leave it on because of chimney.
That smells good. Oh, I've used the vinegar.
It smells a bit Christmassy, doesn't it?
Just actually, yeah. Probably because we eat the shallots at Christmas. So meanwhile, Judith is chopping pineapple.
Awesome.
Oh yes, please.
We obviously we grew this in our garden too.
Of course. North of Scotland. Don't get much northern than us on the mainland. This is actually for her tropical chutney. So she's doing pineapple and date chutney, which sounds interesting.
I know, I can't believe that's your reaction. I thought you'd be like, wow.
I kind of am wow. But also interested.
Yeah, well I looked, and because it's the show in like 2 days' time, I had to find one which didn't say leave it for 3 months or whatever before.
Yeah, I'm the same with my bunting. I've known I had to do bunting for like 3 years.
I thought you had to leave it before eating. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is pop them in the jar.
And how much space do you leave at the top?
Well, I'm not entirely sure, because I think that last time I probably put all of them in here, apart from 1 or 2 little jars, and I might do the same again now.
So is this our Christmas jar?
Yeah, and then rather than have big jars, we'll just have the Christmas jar and a tiny little jar. So I might do like that, and then just pour it in from there.
Okie
So
dokie.
to pour it in, it's not necessarily reliable to pour from the pan. Says having learned the hard way. So, going to attempt to pour from the pan into a jug. Ready? Attempt one. Okay. That's moderately successful. So now we just fill this up to the top basically. Probably even have more than that. There we go.
Wow.
Okay, so that is a jar of shallots.
That is amazing. Oh, there's a smiley face.